everybody. We've got lots of folks in the room. We've got lots of folks online. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to a new semester at Hedgerow.
Yeah.
Then if I pay the rest.
No, this doesn't just.
Okay, so
125 total.
I'll have to move that down again for Joan in a minute. But really glad that you're here. We're beginning with a great new semester. So I see that many of you have the books with you. We did not order books necessarily for this class. So please go ahead and order your own online, either through the Orbis Books website, which is the publisher, or any other online place you'd like to go. And folks on Zoom, if you have any issues with hearing or echoes or anything like that, please let me know. I think we have everything set up well, but it's helpful to know that it's working well on your end. So we want to make sure that you are able to participate fully in class, okay? So over the course of the next several weeks, I know some of you have registered for just a couple of individual classes. Some of you have registered for the whole series. We're going to have the overall idea of this class is we're going to follow along with our main text, which is Green Saints for a Green Generation, but we're also going to have some supplemental readings every once in a while. Those supplemental readings will be linked on the syllabus, and also Katie, who's our Amazing Wisdom Ways coordinator here, she's the one who sends out the reminder emails and sends out yes, applause, sends out the readings. She'll send those to you a week ahead of time. So if you're registered for the class, you'll get that. Either you can click through the syllabus or you'll get it ahead of time in an email. And then there's going to be some really wonderful guest presenters. So Joan Mitchell is going to do the bulk of the teaching, which I think we're all happy about. But we'll also have some guest presenters like Anupama Parishka, who is the Dean of the Business School at St. Kate's. She's an international expert in her field, which is all about sustainable design and reducing waste within the clothing industry. So we're really lucky to be able to hear from her. We're going to hear from Colleen Corrigan, who's a PhD biologist specializing in sustainability. She's going to be talking with us about her experience. We're going to hear from Ann Attia, who's worked for many many decades, doing the pastoral ministry within the Latino community in the Twin Cities and around the world. So we have lots of folks who are going to speak to their own experiences. Oh, and also Rhonda Miska, who helped write this book, is going to come and speak to us. So lots of really great teachers and experiences coming up. Does anybody have any questions about the syllabus or anything related to the nuts and bolts of class before we start with our first sessions?
I don't have any picture.
Marilyn, try clicking on the display option on the top of your screen. Thanks for your patience with all of the tech stuff, guys. So then we will begin, but I think all of you know already that my name is Andrea Pearson Tandy and this is Joan Mitchell, and we'll be the folks who have coordinated it and will teach most of the classes, but especially Joan. Here you go.
All right. This is on our 20th year, you know, we're very close to our 20th year.
Wow.
I would like to suggest we go around and you make a very short statement, your name and a way that you have thought of the Spirit of God in the last week. If nothing else,
Is there an extra pen?
could be the sign of the cross
Here to the desk.
or pass. Okay, just do your name. So Pat, would you start?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. Just to know, because this is a hybrid classroom, unless you speak into the microphone, if you're in the room, the people on Zoom will not be able to hear you. Okay, so if you have a comment, please wait for the mic.
My name is Pat Niska. I'm a consociate. What I felt the Spirit moving today is I went to at least 3 different offices trying to find this. And I finally got registered. So
Hi, I'm Kathy Niska, and I think for me, it's the tremendous mercy that God has for us again and again throughout our lives. I'm Linda Taylor and I'm a sister. And today has just been one of those days where there were a lot of synchronicities. They seem to keep something. So I feel like that was a wake up, was touching in my life.
My name is Janet. Yesterday morning, excuse me, I took a walk on the campus and through the flowers in front of Court of Catherine, and it was just beautiful. Bees and butterflies. It says we live in a very special place. The wonders of creation.
Yoo-hoo.
Barbara Schwain. I've been exploring the Apocrypha texts on Sophia, learning to about the feminine face of God.
Carol Armstrong, and I have been enjoying the spirit of lots of fresh raspberries, many more in the fall than I have ever had before.
My name is Suzanne Reedy. I recently saw a quote from St. Thomas Aquinas, who I don't know too much about, and I don't usually quote him. But anyway, it says, if something is true, no matter who said it, it is always from the Holy Spirit.
Oh, well.
I'm Katie Johnson and I live in New Brighton. I've really enjoyed this summer after the last couple summers of drought and dry. Every time they talk about rain, I go, yay. So it's like driving through a rainforest in some parts of my neighborhood.
Certainly is. Hi, Christine Trainer, and the blessing is I made it.
I'm Margaret McRae, associate, and blessing is this beautiful day.
Annie Schenk, associate candidate. I've been in the school for my clinical placement in social work, and so today it was in a bunch of hugs from 6-year-olds.
I'm Susan Auckling, a sister of St. Joseph. And I am simply, I think, aware of the presence.
I'm Dre Sherlock, and I saw the butterflies swarming yesterday, ready to fly, just fluttering the spirit.
I'm Kathy Steffens, and a surprise to me was that I had the opportunity to drive from ocean to ocean just in the last month through all the national parks. So the interesting memory that came was, yes, the giant woodlands, yes, the ocean, yes, the bison, yes, the everything, but these funny little, what do they call them? Paint pots. You're just walking along and all of a sudden the dirt beside you is going bloop, 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 bloop. It's just hysterical. I'm Kathy Warnicki. I'm from Elk River, just west of Elk River, on the Elk River. The thing I recently felt blessed to discover lately is all these, I let my backyard by the river go wild. 2 summers now. Mainly to keep my grandkids from wanting to play down there and go on the river. But the side benefit has been all these flowers and these plants that come up. And there's so many late blooming ones, like the turtle plants bloom late. There's these little tiny white aspers that bloom late. And there's a whole patch of things I finally went to identify with my plant identifier. And it's a whole bunch of new swamp. Not marigolds, what's the word I'm looking for?
Milkweed.
Milkweed.
Milkweed. And they don't look like the regular milkweed. They're skinny and they got little, and I didn't know what they were all summer, but I let them grow and
Butterflies there.
yes. Well, they're all over the place. And the hummingbirds and everything.
Wonderful.
Well, this is not quite so lofty. Star Madigan here. Happy to be with my oldest nun pal, I think, Joan,
Yeah.
and my best St. Stephen's friend, Mary Loris. And looking forward to tonight. Oh, and communion's my favorite word. I don't know why.
My name is Mary Loris. I'm a consociate, and the blessing of today has been the faithfulness of the seasons as the equinox came in the afternoon. Always the seasons turn, always the light, longer, shorter. Blessing.
I am Lori Goff.
As I listen to what you all had to say about your blessings, I think I need to think more on positive things, less on politics.
So online.
I'm Ann Shields, and the blessing is that my Saints book has been delivered. The bad part is that my husband has a mailbox key, and so I don't have it yet tonight, but I also got caught in a rainstorm on a walk today, so that just feels like a literal blessing, so thank you.
The blessing for me today is seeing all of you in Conduit Center and online, and that we're all interested in the earth and thinking of the fall equinox that comes this morning tomorrow morning at I think like 1 something. I don't think I'll be up. But anyway, again, embracing the seasons. It's good to be with everybody.
Who's next?
Peg Schwindeman. I live down by Hampton, about 35 miles south of Minneapolis, St. Paul. My blessing of the day was the rains in the past 2-3 weeks have been missing me, and the ground had gotten pretty dry. So last night I had 9/10 of an inch of rain, and so I was happy.
My name is Christy. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go, Rosemary?
Go ahead.
My name is Christy. I live in Cottage Grove. I have really enjoyed the hummingbirds. They have visited the flowers on my my deck so much that I have enjoyed just watching them.
My name is Rosemary Curran, and my blessing this past week we went kayaking in my new paddle boat on the St. Croix, and it was mile after mile of blessing. It was just an absolutely gorgeous day.
Brie Lloyd, like Annie had shared, I'm just glad to be here.
My name is
from Hawaii.
My name is Colleen, and my blessing the past few days is the park across the street. There has been a great blue heron that has allowed people to walk past him back and forth and without ruffling its feathers. And it's such a joy to see such sights in nature.
I'm Anita Ducor, and I'm a CSJ consociate, and I live in Minneapolis, and I feel that every day is a blessing.
I'm Jennifer Tashney in St. Paul, and the blessing for me today is the harvest of tomatoes and green beans and basil turned into pesto.
I'm Marilyn Woolley, and I have been keeping track of every Sunday in the newspaper. It tells you when the sunrise and the sunset is, and I wasn't sure it was going to make it to where it was almost 50-50 in time for the equinox, but like you said, it did. So it was really fun. But one thing I discovered is that you gain about, well, like 8 minutes a day, or lose 8 minutes a day in the morning, but you lose 12 minutes a day at night. And so I always thought it got darker faster, you know, in the nighttime, and wished it were a little bit the other way around. But that's okay. I just think it's fun.
Interesting.
Hi, I'm Connie Bowen, Consociate, and I just wanted to mention that, did anybody see last night the clouds in the evening? The clouds were breathtaking. I couldn't believe the sun on the puffy white, like cotton ball clouds before the big storm.
Yeah. Well, we can see what, are we done? Are we?
Chris.
Chris
Yes.
Furlong, Consociate. Today has been a blessing of layers of community helping each other. A niece from northern Minnesota came out our way to get her car looked at, and it'll get fixed tomorrow. She's a nurse in Minneapolis. So we're kind of her remote family. So we'll get her car fixed tomorrow. Our grandson practiced doing wheelies for me. And our son from Maple Grove stopped down and repaired our truck tail light that got broken. And all of this is kind of unexpected. So all these layers of community and support with younger people have been my blessing today.
Wonderful.
I'm Barbara McElwam, a consociate, and the blessings of fall are always blessing. So the fact that in September school usually starts, so there's kind of a new beginning to it all. And there has been so many things that have started in September. And I'm glad to be here at Hedgerow. And also the smells of fall. Can smell the apples and the flowers leaving us with their little falling petals, and even the smell of passing on. Thank you.
Well, we are devoted to nature, which is what this course is about. Women, nature, and the Holy Spirit. Anyone else? Are we good? Well, thank you. I've been very affected by a piece of prayer in one of my books that starts out about meeting the dawn by breathing. So breathing every morning is kind of my first little connection with the Spirit. We're gonna start now on the. So I'm going to do two things tonight. I'm going to acquaint you with some of the major ideas in Elizabeth Johnson's book, Women, Earth, and Creator Spirit. She did this as the Madaleva Lecture in 1993. So that's the better part of 30 years ago. And she's been doing a lot of things on ecology ever since, as well as doing major theological works. So we're going to do that first. And then secondly, and you don't have this, but you can get a printout of what I'm doing on the screen if you want it. Also, as we go, both Elizabeth Johnson in both texts just lapses into verbs, endless verbs. So pick a few of your favorites for the ending. Notice them. I've tried to highlight a lot of them, so you can't miss them. So, up and away. So these are narratives, a lot of them. They're not so theological. They're the stories of things people have done and accomplished, all ecological and kind of over different periods in history. Next week, we'll read about a desert mother and get asked to think about how our own mothers and grandmothers provided, saved things to eat and drink. So then this and other theological books just provide a theological framework that's going on at the same time. So I think both are important. The Madaleva lecture is one that Sister Madaleva, who is a Holy Cross sister at St. Mary's near Notre Dame, he started this series of lectures, and she started in 1943 a theology school for women because you couldn't go to any school. It wouldn't take you in. She did a lot of other things too. So this is a major lecture. It's a very big thing to get to give it. And there's a lot in it. It'll give you a little framework for how our women theologians were thinking back in the 80s and 90s, because there's a birth of feminism in the 80s, a birth of seeing things, recognizing we all see from our standpoint. Everything's relative. The conservatives are right. That's also true. Everything's related. So you can read these. So this starts out with hierarchical dualism, which really comes out of the Greek philosophy. And you kind of know this, I think. Humanity is more important than anything in nature, right? I mean, you can get that out of Genesis 1. And the human male person is more important than woman, more culture, but widespread culture. And God is up there. So you understand this two-tiered business in the next slide. This is her thesis in the book, that the exploitation of the earth and the marginalization of women are intrinsically related to forgetting the Holy Spirit. Maybe we should do the fans. Sure. Notice there are a couple of verbs already. Forgetting the Spirit who pervades the world and dances. She made a point that both women and earth are in a skewed place in this hierarchy and commonly excluded from the sacred. And that women pay for it a lot, being taken for granted, ignored, used, discarded, battered, all of these things. Going along. A lot of that comes from Greek philosophy that divides what we experience in the world into spirit and matter. and one is better than the other. So they're always separating. The spirit is transcendent and uses all the best human things: reason, mind, intellect, soul, the permanent, the infinite. Matter, on the other hand, is the principle signifying immanence. And all those, that list at the end. The finite things, not the lasting things. Maybe that's why legalism is so popular. You know, it just can last forever, and you can claim in every way that it lasts forever. So if you oppose that and stand up for the spirit, I have put our state flower, the orchid, which I personally, with trays, venerate each year. Highway 65, up by Walker. Okay. Well, then you come along to the Enlightenment, as if the Greeks weren't enough. And now the mind is the knower of everything else. Everything else is an object, not a living, breathing something, but something to be known by the mind. It's what's essential. And it stands over against nature. Nature is a thing. And now it just, you know, several of you talked about the arrival of the equinox, or it is an equinox, on time, or how much it's off. It works so regularly. So you see it as a machine. I know we try to celebrate it today, but you can see the machine-like, repetitive, predictable parts of it. If you have a question or something, you can ask it. I'm just trying to give you an overview in the time we have. Wait a minute. Yeah, thank you. That's it. I was wrong, Andrea, you can go.
Oh, okay, sorry, thank you.
So, you know, a lot of people wonder, you've heard of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene? You know, she has a vision in the middle of it and it's gone. So you only have the first couple of steps, but it was a stairs. It was the traditional things you had to leave behind in order, like ignorance and sensuality and all these things that can lead you to bad places. Step by step by step, you have to get rid of them. So that's the stairs to something that's more lasting. And it's interesting that it's so nice to have Mary Magdalene kind of in charge in that gospel. But what she's learning, what she stands for, and it tends to be the other God, the more Greek gospel of trying to return so that you have all the powers that are potentially possible. More on that. So, and of course, Mary Magdalene occasionally gets praised for being like a man. And the spirituality that results from this is to be holy, you have to escape the prison of the flesh, desires, and seek the higher world. This was the spirituality that we had at the time we entered, prior to Vatican II. Okay, next. So what is being missed? Now here comes the march of the verbs. So what's being neglected is the mystery of personal engagement with the world, with its love, disaster, nothing less than God's overpowering presence, active in the cosmos from the beginning through history to the end, calling forth life and freedom. Just seeing nature as somehow kind of nothing. Forgetting the spirit, the third hypothesis, the mystery of God vivifying the world. Closer to us than we are to ourselves almost. We're like the breath we breathe. Okay. So the self is structured, really, this is Beth talking now, not in isolation from or dualistic opposition to the other, but in intrinsic relationship with the other, rather than we, meaning not they. We and they are intertwined. So this is a big thing that she's seeing, that dualistic way of thinking, either or, spirit matter, one's better, one's not, is a terrible habit. When in fact the spirit is there all the time, in all the relationships, is part of why we're here at all. So women's wisdom suggests the relation is not one of over against or superior, but together with. In an interactive circle of mutual kinship. Teresa's oldest niece has a husband who taught wrestling down in Dubuque. And when he retired, he had state champions. He was a very good wrestling coach for many, many years. And guess what happened? When he retired, they needed a woman's wrestling coach. Well, that was very different than teaching the boys wrestling. And they said you could always count on the boys, that when they got out in the ring, oh, they want to be a hero. They want to show their best stuff. And he said the girls did not want to even go into the contests until they were friends. They wanted to form a group first and be together. It was interesting. I think that's what she's saying. There is a different mindset. So now we've been studying this page. Take a deep breath. When we did the physics and the chemistry and the biology and all of that, remember with, what was the book? It's not long ago. But astrophysics and evolutionary biology reaffirm that everything's related. The atoms are not inanimate particles. You know, we can't even snap a picture of them. They just look like dots if you do that. They know, and they look like waves when they're actually doing their thing. So you can't even catch them being inanimate because they're in relationship and they're constantly doing it. And the subatomic particles going even smaller are swirling, whirling. Something here in our room can move something in Australia that just all over the place. Dancing particles that are internally constituted by their relationships. They are who they're related to, what they're related to. So she's saying, I love that last part, matter itself is profoundly social. So science has a new theological perception. That just to rest your eyes. 1993. Okay. This is really something, you know, when you think about it, that matter alive with energy evolves to spirit. We have those human spirits, conscious spirits. So everything that is and we see and take in and hear and all the rest of it can be within our consciousness. The fluttering butterflies, we're all pretty good observers of nature around us. And consciousness, if you think about it the other way, is the flowering through us of deeply cosmic energies. So we're part of the mix. And this last statement is especially true. The human spirit is rightly interpreted within, rather than over against human kinship with nature. So there are three things now that we're going to look at about the Holy Spirit, and we're getting almost done. That even in the Nicene Creed, it says the Spirit is the giver of life. Vivi, you can see the word there, vivacious, vivifier, vivicandum in Latin. The Spirit is dynamic flow of divine power that sustains the universe, brings forth life. So number one, the Spirit is immanent, is in the historical world. So we shouldn't forget it. And in theism, which we've studied, it's as if we're all in the womb of God, that everything is in God. Number two, it says up there, when things get broken, then we find the Spirit rejuvenating, providing the energy to go on. That's what in Catholic liturgy, there's a prayer between readings before the gospel, the Pentecost sequence. Sings the Spirit does all these things. So you don't have to be good to have the Spirit. The Spirit is not there just when you're good, when you're loving, when you care for even the ones nobody else likes, none of that. The Spirit's there when you've had a bad day, when you've been mean, you didn't want to be mean, but you were mean. Spirit never gives up on you, got your back. Loosening up the rigid, warming the freezing, straightening the crooked and the bent. It's a beautiful sequence. We've probably done all those things or felt like it now and again. So the spirit is very active in good times and in troubled times. Okay. And more verbs. The spirit moves. Evolution testifies to it. In fact, to just how much surprise the universe is capable of developing. So here we go. The living spirit empowers, lures, prods, dances on ahead. And the design for existence is not a ladder of various worths, but circles, fellowship, community. That's what koinonia means too. And what connects us? There's the indwelling, renewing, moving, creating spirit. Spirit. Hand at your heart. Right now, you've got it. You're alive. You've got life. Beat by beat, breath by breath, spirit immanent. These numbers, by the way, are when you see her. Well, anyway, this is pages in the book. Okay. Oh yeah. All these images that are from the Bible. Ruah, the wind, the breath, wings. Remember, there's an eagle that flies the people out of Egypt in some of the covenant story. The sheltering wings of the mother hen. The burning bush, tongues of fire. And of course, in the story of evolution, life begins in the sea, babies in the womb, water in the trees, dew on the grass. In Israel, the dew waters the vines. Blood in veins, wine in the vessel, rain on the earth, water all poured. We had rain on the earth. One of the things. So the spirit is life that gives life. Moving over the void, pouring out, informing, quickening, warming, setting free, blessing, dancing in mutual immanence in the world. Hard not to like dancing, isn't it? So non-theological. I kept a lot of this because it's just so beautiful. That the female and cosmic symbols of the creator spirit and the insights to which they give rise have unique potential to heal divided consciousness. One who blows the wild wind of life, who fires the blaze of being, who gives birth to the world, who midwives it into existence, does not stand over against it or rule hierarchically from afar, but dwells in intimate, quickening relationship with humanity and life vigor. Woven into the fabric of one cosmic community. So
This is love grants autonomy to the beloved and respects this, so the Spirit respects us. Participating in the joy and pain of others' destiny. It vigorously cares and works for and urges the beloved toward his or her own well-being, but never forces. In an open-ended evolutionary universe, death often becomes the matrix for birth of the new. Earth from an exploding star, mushrooms from a rotting tree trunk, a new community from the cross of Jesus. The girl is a poet as well as a theologian, isn't she? Okay.
Excuse me, Joan, would you say again who's saying this?
Beth Johnson, Elizabeth Johnson.
Wow, great, thank you.
Now this is a collection of verbs again. About the Spirit. Having the character of compassion. You don't have to be perfect to have the Spirit within. She's there for the long road, the long road. She resists, reconciles, accompanies, sympathizes, liberates, comforts, plays, delights, befriends, strengthens, and suffers with, vivifies, renews, endures, challenges, participates, all the while toward moving the world toward its destiny. And moved by the Spirit. Maybe we kind of get that way too. All right, next. I think we saw that. Huh. Is this a recent version?
It's the one you sent me.
All right. Now.
We don't have to be perfect.
No, of course, like. Well, now we're going to stop and we're going to have a discussion at your tables and groups online. And the question really is, how have you experienced the Holy Spirit in your life, in your awareness? Over the course, have you experienced the Holy Spirit? And if, I'm presuming you have, but as you become aware of the Holy Spirit, what is the Holy Spirit doing? Third, an important idea, because we're not always particularly able to read those signs, read those nudges and lures and take them seriously. Learn to be literate in the Spirit's prodding. So if you're spiritual but not religious, you should be real expert at this. So think about it. Do you think now about the Spirit being within you? Did you always? If it changed, what changed it? So in the ideal world, you make notes for about a minute. And then you can talk as a foursome, one at a time, and each take a couple minutes. And just listen to each other. What you hear.
Or if you'd rather talk 2 and 2, that'd be fine too. Ready? Ready? Give you a couple minutes to just write your response. It could be I sent you the wrong one. Yeah.
Oh, we want people to talk about right now? This was right at the beginning though. Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Keep going. Wow. This isn't it.
It's not the right one?
I don't think so.
Yes, I'm
I
sorry.
think this is where it starts.
Okay,
It's the last part of this now.
okay.
We do what we can. So. In pairs or as a table?
Your
Was the spirit touched you recently?
Yeah. That was a beginning question.
And what are you hoping that they're talking about now?
They're talking about how their experience of the spirit has changed over time.
Okay.
So this is the second half. It does have this ego, I think, in it. Says that in it, but maybe some of these things aren't in it.
You don't happen to have your computer here, do you?
Oh, I didn't.
Because sometimes.
I wonder if you attached a version that wasn't. Well,
I think so. I think I attached a version that wasn't good.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to get the right one now.
No, you.
But we'll have to, yeah, so I have a computer. Well,
What's on yours?
okay. Let me show you.
You can't see them coming.
So this is the slide you were on. And we finished.
Order and I'm going.
Is this from the 375 address now?
Yeah.
Got it.
First time it has to be. Oh my God, I don't understand the idea that.
Okay.
Really something really when they're trying to start talking to people, they actually think they're there. They do act like they're there.
Yeah.
It's like.
So maybe it is.
This looks great. I mean, it's going through.
Yeah.
This wind. Because I'm talking about something.
Yeah. Okay.
Something happened last night and I checked.
So do you feel good about this?
Yeah, very.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
So-
It is.
Oh, good. All right. So Joan, wait, could you let me know when you want about a minute left in the groups and then I'll close? Because the people on Zoom will get 1 minute warning and I can't take them back earlier than that. So let me know when you're wrapping up.
The radio was on. That's not a common name. And I mean, this, if I, whenever I like, she's been 25 years, I don't say. So I mean, everything was like online as you know. I even had, I woke up and I'm like, oh my God. This is what he has. I'm very visual. So that means that I saw it from somewhere in the hair center. And, but what he described about him, he right. And even my mom, so I started to talk something had I like. The brain, is that something that's just gonna kind of hang really there? Or in time, am I gonna say all that?
And she said, I'm talking about that a lot.
Yeah. I don't wanna say that's.
And it got my attention.
Enough for me to trust it.
So that is really great stuff. That. And not just.
I struggled with something for a long. And there's no point, and I remember when it started, I started, I woke up one morning and I said to myself, total we're not campus anymore.
The Bible. This took me out.
And I ended up trying to find out. Terry was back in 1980.
When I was 42, I was diagnosed with
This overdraw.
and prior to that,
Things moving very fast.
was very
And for so long,
relationship,
just set my
family.
This is, so strong. This is my life. When it's, you're like that song.
And
It's your lifestyle. And
the cancer, I had a 40% chance to survive, and I did. And that. And I know instantly just open me to
what it was referring to. And everybody said,
no.
I have to go back, because I thought,
It's
this is where it was in 1980.
cancer.
Yeah. And I thought, if you can always solve, and this forward back.
And I was saying,
To grab. Some more. But
I hear
that was gonna send you. It's been a lot.
it's like that with them.
Yes.
We have another couple minutes.
You know, the words that were fast. Very Lawrence. Right out. You don't have to wait. How about we do, so that makes sense for me first. Right back to sleep. Wow. And I put it back. And I knew, okay, so you want to go.
I'm gonna ask if they need more time.
Okay, okay.
Do you need more time?
Yes, but.
Okay.
I was laughing, but when you were that, you were gonna, I had this, yes.
All right, I'll tell the people online they've got 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes.
Maybe.
Okay.
So that they will join and serve. It seems to be moving them, so it seems to be everyone just join. And then get it. Is a experience. I hate to say paid hiring. Yeah, it's kind of. But I think they're so. With the. Lately, it's been. Sideline, yeah. It's been years ago. Things on the side or that. It's just fun, but it's like. You know, it's from this song, saved from church. I just, so I just use connections. And I just know. And so they. Connection. Studying the words to the music. Yeah. So, and then. Oh, you know, I have this experience too. I get involved in various years and yes, comment about. The only time we send you this period was you're enjoying celebration. Wake up and rest is kind of. This is the devotion. And
It's stands right.
Sometimes.
Enjoy studying.
Sometimes. Because I always. You know, I always wonder.
You think one more minute, Joan?
Yeah. We'll take another minute.
And why? Why wouldn't you? Because the civil about this earth, when this radical change. You know, they're independent, they seem to be, not having like. You know, and so I all of a sudden had this insight, that's it. And to me, it's spiritual. I mean, it was because. Third thing, there's a way to lessons from the spirits. Yeah. It's gonna be support, it's going to support what's not going for the identity, for their tribe, family, or their 2 years. And it's all the spirit of these.
Okay, Joan, folks on Zoom are back.
And even like.
Okay, our friends are back. It's online. I think I'm gonna time you next time. So everybody gets a chance. It's hard to keep track. So now, as some of you may know, the Sisters of St. Joseph celebrated their 375th anniversary this year, and there was a conference in Kansas City. And Elizabeth Johnson spoke at it. So we thought when we planned the syllabus, we'd be able to get the video, but we couldn't. So I'm going to highlight the video for you.
You did get a text of the, do you want to let them know, Joan?
Yeah, well, yes, you did. We ran it out. We got a text with this.
Yep, right.
So I'm highlighting something that you'll have a chance to reread if you want it. So this. You know, back in 1980, we had an activity where you're supposed to draw a picture of God. And I drew a meadow. Oh, was a real exciting moment that I had a very maternal idea of God.
You drew a
meadow full of flowers, you know. So our congregation is has love of God and love of the neighbor. the dear neighbor without distinction, that you can't love God without loving the neighbor. And you can't really distinguish among the neighbors and just pick a few good ones.
Or the right color.
Or the right color, or the right anything. Yeah, that would be worth more. So you don't get to do that better than you have to look at us and aim to further unifying love. Bringing people together the way the universe has brought things together. The spirit. So this happens to be our specific mission, and we got out of the monasteries to do it 375 years ago, to be out with the people. But it is everybody's charge. What is the great commandment? Jesus' answer is, you shall love the Holy One, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind. And then he asks, what is the second commandment? And answers it, and your neighbor as yourself. So it's a teaching for us all. This is her aim as she's starting out in her talk, that she wants us, feels we are called to hear the cry of the poor and the cry of the earth together, so that social justice and ecological justice flow in a new unity. So her whole talk is about nature being our dear neighbor. When we work for the union of neighbor with neighbor, neighbor with God, we include all other creatures in our care. So do you buy that? I hope so. The obstacles to that being the case in our world are many, like those on the next page. Yeah. The hierarchy of being, we've already talked about it, with humans on the pinnacle, all else for our use. Emphasis on humans as sinners who need to be saved, and not even taking up nature. Focus on the supernatural, not the natural, which also cuts off the earth. I think the most common reason I hear for not believing in God is, if God is all-knowing, why doesn't God take care of this? And all-powerful. So, pressure to be active consumers, and of course our own ignorance of not realizing what it's costing Earth to deliver what we think we want. And our speaker, Elizabeth, makes this point very strongly, that you have to love nature to want to save it, which clearly this group does. Practically everybody mentions something they'd seen. I was quite touched not long ago by this big mother turkey. We had a couple inches of rain the night before and everything was wet, and she had her 5 chicks up on the picnic table out here. For some reason that touched me, that she got them all up there somehow. So, all right. How do you like that? I don't know who did it. But it's powerful, isn't it?
Any way you can get a copy of that?
Well, you've got a copy here. Who was that?
Christy.
Christy, yeah.
Yeah.
Gertrude Mueller Nelson, who's an artist that did a lot of art for us. sent it to me and she didn't know who'd done it. And so far, I've never been sued about having it, but the powerful comparison. Let's keep going.
Can we keep it one?
Oh, you want to take a picture?
Katie's got it.
Honestly, it'll be in the, on the line, online, I think.
Yeah, we'll have, Katie, you'll email this to everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when we did God's ecstasy with Beatrice Toll, we did this a couple of years ago now, but it started with the physics of evolution, then the chemistry, then the biology. And it was really good. So chemically, we know that our blood has iron in it from the supernovas of the stars. It baked these elements out of the gases. And biologically speaking, you know, good old Charles Darwin noticed these things on his famous trip, that all these animals have the same hand structure. The mole for digging, the leg of the horse, the paddle of the porpoise, the wing of the bat show a common ancestor. So here's the statement: science as well as faith. According to science as well as to faith, there is one community of life on earth. Science calls it the biosphere, and theology calls it the community of creation. The creed begins, we believe in God, the creator that has littered all things visible and invisible. All is gift. Being here, we can't explain it. But it rests on something greater that gives it life. In all the major monotheistic religions, name that God. Now, this is a kind of turn toward the adverb or the adjective. That the holy mystery of love of God beyond human imagination and sheer exuberance, overflowing wellspring of being, without origin, without limit, without end. Trying to express the profundity of the mystery. This is Ansgar. I think this kind of says it too. That the gift of creation is continuous, a relation between giver and gift that doesn't end. You can read the quote from Wisdom. Your immortal spirit is in all things. I like the bird symbol embracing the world. The creative spirit of God indwells the world out of love. Can you see the little crane at the bottom, near the bottom? And then it's in the shadow of the sunset. Kind of interesting. That tendency to stand up in the sun at the end. Okay. So Laudate Si, the Pope Francis's call to rally to heal our household We humans are not disconnected from the rest of creatures, but joined together in one splendid universal communion. Kinship. There it is. This is Marion Honors art, a sister from New York. Fun, isn't it? She did a lot of art for us too. So Jesus, now citing the Bible, notice the wildflowers in the field, just like we notice flowers, taught how God had clothed them in beauty, and he saw the sparrows on sale in the market for someone's supper and spoke of God's care for them. One of them is forgotten in God's sight. So the Gospels show Jesus noticing people on the margins who, like the wildflowers and sparrows, could be dismissed as of little account. The bent over woman outside the synagogue, an ostracized tax collector of a tree. The gaze of Jesus saw their worth and their suffering and acted to show God's care. It's all God's beloved world. Okay. I love this slide. Put in a little gospel content in the scientific words here. Born of a woman in the Hebrew gene pool, Jesus was a creature of earth. The atoms comprising his body were once part of the stars. The genetic structure of the cells in his body were kin to the flowers, fish, frogs, finches, foxes. The whole community of life descended from common ancestors in the ancient seas. So here she's saying the word became DNA. We usually say the word became flesh, right? The word became DNA, we might say today. Through Jesus, the human being, God's own self-expressing word, is united to the whole evolving biological world of living creatures and the cosmic dust of which we are composed. It's kind of awesome, but a profoundly different worldview than we started out with from the Greeks or from the Renaissance. Okay. However, if there is one God, one holy mystery of love, who creates, indwells, and sustains all creatures, who enfolds all with affection, whose word became flesh in Jesus Christ as part of the biosphere. This Jesus, whose death on the cross puts him in solidarity with all living creatures that suffer, and whose resurrection promises a blessed future for the whole shebang. Then, when we say us in our imagination, we should include all our fellow creatures. Give us this day our daily bread. All creatures need to eat. Have mercy on us. All creatures need God's loving kindness, especially those struggling, suffering, dying. Oh, that's a page, isn't it? I mean, that's a... And here is her conclusion. The ethical point that once we truly appreciate the life of the other, we arrive at a new starting point for making decisions. We can start changing some of the deep-seated behaviors that are driving environmental destruction, our galloping poverty, and our cultural despair. Humbled, delighted by the other life around us, we can hear the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor together and step up to protect our kin. Responsible, self-sacrificing commitment to loving our neighbor through social justice and ecological justice would flow together as a result. I tried to include a little bit of the delivery. So how does the Spirit of God speak within you? What prompts you to personal change? What actions have you learned that respect Earth and all that can? So we have 5 minutes for you to speak at your table, speak online. I think you should start first to anyone who hasn't spoken at your table.
Joan, I have something for the group. It's Annie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's from Thomas Berry, and it goes with your community of creation, which had the human with all the animals around, so that we are immersed. It's not the earth and then us. We're again the stardust, right? We're all made of the carbon, and the same thing from butterflies, and you've got it. Anyway, so Thomas Berry, here's a quote from Thomas Berry about it is the community of creation. He's talking for the earth, and he's saying, what does the earth desire? I will put it in just a few words: to be admired in her loveliness, to be tasted in her delicious fruits, to be listened to in her teaching, to be endured in the severity of her discipline, to be cared for and respected in her vulnerability. I just love that. So thank you for that time.
Or maybe we should just do favorite things as a group online and here in the group.
Just have a large group
Yeah,
conversation?
let's have a large group conversation. Maybe the people have things, particularly anyone who hasn't had a chance to speak. You can be first.
Would you put the questions up again, please? Is that possible?
Sure.
It doesn't have different things in it. Well, I do have homework. Whatever that is.
So.
Especially on my board.
I'm interested if you find any of the verbs of the Spirit active in you.
Should put those back.
You asked for a verb that hit you, and the two that hit me were vivifying, which is a word you never hear out on the street. And the other one was midwifing, that God would midwife a birth.
I think part of the reason this part interests me is that we're forever saying, "Come, Holy Spirit," in our prayers. Not saying, what? But we are one of the things we're coming up on is the Jesuit examen as a way to pay attention to the Spirit's language in our human self.
That's a great idea to use the examen in that way. I just have two things. I've noticed that in my years of recycling and then learning I can recycle more and more, when I can't, because of a circumstance of where I am or something, I notice that I'm apologizing to the universe. And that I want to speak that because I want to try to live my intention. And then, and not like a shame thing, but like I want to just say this. And then the other thing is, ironically, right now there's a thing on public television called The Sacred Planet. And last night they were going from West Africa to East Africa on how to save the remaining forest and what they were doing to maintain those forests.
And most of them revolved around different sacred sites to many different religions.
That was Marilyn.
Yeah.
Favorite
The
birds?
forests were cared for by the religion. They surrounded the holy site. And it didn't matter if it was, some strange, local religion or Hinduism or Catholicism, all different kind of churches maintain these forests.
This is Carol. I think for me to envision as spirit, rather than God creator son or father son, encourages me to be conscious and aware of God so much more than father son. That spirit is when I can speak that, it reminds me to pay attention in the minute to minute, in the day to day kind of thing. And that's a good thing, because when I become more comfortable in life, I can also not pay attention so much. I can relax and put my feet up and all of those things, which are fine things to do in moderation. But I think I love the many images of spirit, of spirit as atoms, spirit moving through and with. All of those things are more of a community than the hierarchical trinity.
This is Kathy, and I was thinking about what you said, Christine, because I think without naming the Spirit of God speaking, I think it's the desire or the leaning toward or the action that comes as a response to something in nature, like the question about what do you love? Like what was the quote, Joan, about you won't try to save what you don't, you won't try to save what you don't love. Yeah. So that without naming spirit, I think that's the thing that when I wrote down, I think it's been forever in my life, but naming spirit is probably the new piece, but I think it's God's way of drawing each of us toward how we can live more relationally.
it's time to go home now. Next time, we are going to look at what is ecofeminism, and we're gonna look at Rosemary Radford Ruther and Ebony Guevara. Rosemary Radford Ruther is from here, from the US, and Ebony Guevara is from Brazil. And we want you to read The Desert Mothers Are Mothers in Green Saints. So one is a narrative and the other two are things that are on the, where are they? There, Kate has them posted on the Wisdom Ways site, but in.
Well, there's a link in the syllabus, but then, sorry. There's a link in the syllabus to the readings, but also Katie will email us in the next week. She'll email the Joan's PowerPoint and also the readings for next week. Is it right? Come back.
So do what you can. Have fun.
Thanks, Joan.
Your favorite bird.
Thanks, Joan. Fabulous.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Joan.
Thanks, Joan.
Good to be with everyone.
Bye-bye.
You can always